to start, I want you guys to know that I got all my information from close combat training in the NRA, which is the National Rifle Society. And I also want you guys to know too that obviously you guys know that I'm really close with this topic, and it doesn't bother me when people make jokes about it, but I also want you guys to know that I'm really serious about this, and it's not like a goof around type of thing. And people that go around and goof around with guns, that's not what I believe in and everything. So just get that clear before we start.
It's a way of confident living on all levels by harnessing those natural survival instincts to combat our greatest enemy of all, fear. Walk with confidence and keep it simple. But when it comes to that kill moment, your natural survival instinct will take over and do whatever it can to save your life. All close combat training can be used in any sort of self-defense. In a fear-induced stress situation, you're only going to remember to do what comes naturally. Self-defense has one purpose, and one purpose only: to survive.
Okay, obviously you guys probably have been in a situation like this, and you probably don't want to be in a situation like this. But what if I were to tell you that it would be illegal for you guys to defend yourself? That if someone came up to you and they pointed a gun at you, that it would be illegal for you to pull a gun on their back? That if you were in a threatening situation that depended on life or death, and you saved yourself from, or family or anybody else from that situation by defending yourself with a firearm, that you could go to jail because you had a firearm. I'm not going to show you how to do any of that stuff. I'm not going to show you guys how to defend yourself, which is also very important to know. But what I'm going to tell you is that your Second Amendment right is in danger right now, and we all need to support it and stuff like that, because President Obama right now does not support the Second Amendment and everything like that, and I believe that it's everybody's right to be able to defend themselves in any situation. It is clear to me that it is your freedom, your right, and your life that the Second Amendment protects and everything. Second Amendment states that you have the right to keep and bear arms. It says in the Constitution clearly that the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I don't see how you can get that any clearer, that it is supposed to be in the Constitution, supposed to be in your Bill of Rights, and you are not supposed to take it out. This is what our founding fathers believed. This is what I believe too. Okay, I like this picture. It basically states independence, and it says on the bottom, if you can't read, that I would never invade. Well, if
we got you.
I mean, like, if you can't see it clearly enough to read it, because it's a little blurry, but not if you can't read. But I would never invade the United States because there would be a gun behind every blade of grass. This basically states, I think that has a lot of symbolism with, if you are going to commit a crime, you're not going to go commit a crime against somebody that you know has a gun. That's obviously kind of stupid. So the more people that have concealed weapons permits and guns and stuff, the safer it seems. I know that may sound kind of ironic and backwards, but I could bore you guys with a bunch of statistics, but I chose to just share my belief and everything. If you want to know statistics, you can get with me later, because I know a ton of those too. Go ahead. Alright, I also like this picture. It kind of puts it in the way I see it, that if guns kill people, then pencils misspell words, cars make people drive drunk, and spoons make girls go down fat. It's basically saying, you know, if I were to put a gun, obviously I can't because we're in school, but if I were to put a gun on the desk, it is not going to hurt you. If it's just sitting right there, it's not going to hurt you. Obviously, people in any situation take advantage of the situation, regardless if it's with guns or if it's with marijuana or if it's with alcohol, anything. There's going to be that certain type of person that's going to take advantage. But if you have the right people in the situations, they can contradict that and everything. So this quote on the top is actually one that I made up myself, so no copyright issues there. It says that if I am the only person standing between a threat, my country, family, or well-being of the innocent, my role is clear regardless of its legality. To me, this means that if President Obama succeeds and gets rid of the Second Amendment and we are not allowed to carry guns and defend ourselves with a firearm, if I'm the only person standing between a threat and one of you guys or anybody else, I don't care if it's illegal or not. I'm not going to let that person hurt you. I'm not going to let them hurt me either. So, and the thing that I think is ironic about this, I don't know, this is a little blurry, I know, so if you can't read it, I'll read it for you. Not that you can't read. It says, on his inauguration, President Obama will be protected by Secret Service with 11,500 soldiers and 4,000 police officers, and they will all be armed with armor and automatic weapons. But yet he thinks that the Second Amendment does not include to anybody. Does that, you guys get that?
Kind of hypocritical, you
think?
think?
Yeah, very hypocritical, I think, in my personal opinion. And on the bottom it says, no one is assigned to protect my family. If he gets the right of all these thousands of people that have guns protecting him at his inauguration, who's going to protect my family? Who's going to protect the people that I care for? Well, I'm going to, because I have the right to under the Second Amendment.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, this next video I'm going to show you, the guy in it is named Chris Cox. He's the chief lobbyist of the NRA. I said before, but the NRA is the National Rifle Association, and they are the ones that promote and protect your Second Amendment right and everything. And you can become a member if you want to know how to do that too, I can let you know. But you get magazines every month and stuff like that. They have a section in there called The Armed Citizen, and they have stories about people that defended themselves because of the Second Amendment. I'm going to the video now. Oh, and so you guys know what's going on here. This is at a conference, and I didn't show the whole thing because it'd take up a little bit too much time, so I'll just rephrase what he said before this. He's basically going through his political dictionary, stating off different words, and then explaining them in the NRA sense. So.
You may have to move that just a little bit and then go back to it. I don't know why.
They mean. I mean, how else can you end up with a group that calls itself the American Hunters and Shooters Association, yet wants to ban the guns you need to hunt or shoot? That's the problem. With all the renaming and redefining of words, it's hard to know what anybody's saying anymore. So let's revisit a few words today from my political dictionary. Now, I'll start with one. It's not politically correct, but it's all too politically common. Jackass. It means a stupid person or fool. And folks, it was not easy to pick an example to show you because so many people I deal with meet that definition. But here's one. Please watch.
Oh no.
They should just change their name to the Assassin. Because that's what they are. Yeah, you can applaud that. Somebody should applaud that. I'm so tired of hearing about the Second Amendment and the Constitution. If you love guns, just admit it like it's a vice. It's not good for you or anybody else, you just like it. But stop the bull about the Second Amendment and the Constitution. And somebody also should tell all these people, these NRA types who think it's great to be armed. And these guys always think that, you know, it's great to have a gun because if some bad stuff goes down, I'll be able to stop the bad guy. This is your fantasy, ass. You would never be able to do that.
First of all, Bill, that's not our fantasy. It's every gun owner's worst nightmare. But bad stuff does go down every day. And Americans use guns 2.5 million times a year to protect themselves and their families. The truth is, it often takes a good guy with a gun to stop a bad guy with a gun. And that's why Rosie O'Donnell and all his celebrity buddies have armed bodyguards. So sorry, Bill. We will never stop fighting for the Second Amendment or the Constitution that also protects his First Amendment right to be a complete jackass.
Oh my God, I like that guy.
Okay, I really like this part, and if you guys don't understand what he meant by his First Amendment right to be a jackass, it's basically saying under the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment is freedom of speech. He has the right to say whatever he wants, so do you guys, whether or not it's true, but under that same Bill of Rights, we have the right to carry a gun and everything, so he thinks we shouldn't be able to carry guns. Well, it's basically saying that the Bill of Rights isn't legitimate, so how does he have the right to freedom of speech? So, go ahead, go to the next part.
Yeah, just tweak it a little. There you go.
But enough of the negative words in my political dictionary. Let's look at a few of the positive. Here's our next word, success. Success is a favorable or desired outcome, and you've achieved a lot of it. We now have worker protection laws in 13 states, emergency power laws in 30 states, and statewide preemption laws in 48 states. And friends, there's nothing more important than your right to self-defense. Thanks to you, right to carry is now a right restored in more than 40 states and counting. And last month, Wyoming restored your right to carry without a permit. What that means is from Vermont to Alaska and Arizona to Wyoming, you don't need anyone's permission to protect yourself. And that's the way it should be. I think it's morally reprehensible for any politician to say how, when, or where an honest person can defend themselves. It's your God-given right to defend yourself. And that's a big reason why the Castle Doctrine is so important.
Okay. This is basically why I said before that I'm really serious about this topic and everything. Like, it's not something to just joke around about. You don't just go off into the woods and play around with guns and mess around. It's a serious thing. You need to be responsible and everything. And that's why in the first part of the video, when he said that it's our fantasy to have some bad thing happen so that people in the NRA can stop it, and how Chris Cox said it, it's not our fantasy, it's our worst nightmare. I don't want any of this stuff to happen. I don't want to have to be able to use a gun, but if I do, I would rather use it and protect everybody than not be able to. So that's why I think that we need to all support the Second Amendment.
You go, girl.